Hey Collective, welcome back to the channel. We are still on the Nancy Guthrie case, okay? And I'm not really satisfied with the day zero timeline video that I did because I just realized I have some other notes that I didn't include in that video, but I did say I was going to wait until I had a lot more confirmed time dates from specific law enforcement sources as opposed to just like hearsay. Okay, so we'll revise that at some point, but I do want to get to this important segment, this text message, which was not widely reported. I did hear and I saw this streamer post some court documents about a Miranda warning to this fake ransom person who sent text messages to both Tommaso and Annie. I think it was like February 4th or 5th. Um, Now, we've profiled behavior to some degree already in that last witness and in the video of the suspect that they caught on camera. We've mapped proximity throughout these readings and, at different points. I do feel like I want to get a bird's eye view on that at some point, but we've also tracked the escalation. Okay, so I did touch on that. Now we're going to go into where the investigation actually like breaks open. Okay, this is where the digital layer that I've been noting, and these cards have been coming out as timestamps, timeline, um alibi. There's a lot of discrepancy that I'm feeling that the law enforcement is having to go through right now. Okay, so because we know that in 2026 nobody disappears without leaving a signal, we know that we can track a lot of this stuff, and metadata holds a lot of information. Okay, now if this case is sophisticated, then the digital silence is either intentional or it is artificial. Like they still haven't gotten into what is really going on. So let's get into it. All right, now the phone question. Phones don't just turn off. Okay, they may lose signal, they may die, they may go into airplane mode, or they may just power down. But each one creates a different signal structure, and that's what I want to get into with these spirit questions. So let's go straight ahead. I do have these cards shuffled. I have a couple of questions that I want to ask. One of them being, was the phone manually turned off? Was the phone manually turned off? And I'm just saying the phone. I'm trying to be as vague as possible because, again, we cannot do a lot of accusing, even though there's a ton of speculation and energy moving in one direction or, in several directions. But, search history redacted is what came out. Search history redacted. Somebody could have tried to clear their cookies or their cache. It feels like they're late to the party though, or they could have also tried to, maybe they didn't even think about going incognito. Cross-border evidence standards is here. One more to clarify, was the phone manually turned off? Was the phone manually turned off? Party event location. Okay, so if there was a phone turned off, we don't know exactly who or what or why. We do know that Nancy's phone and keys and personal shit was at her house. As far as Tommaso's phone, we don't know exactly where that was, but we would know if he was communicating, or even if he was moving from one place to the next. We would also know based off of an alibi and confirming through timeline and the GPS pinging whether what's her face, Annie, was where she said she was. Okay, now let's get into these pings. Did it ping after the disappearance window? Did the phone ping after the disappearance window? Do authorities have info on that? All right, we have that was not random. Secret trial held behind closed doors. Small story for a small town. Okay. Clarify with one more, please. Did it ping after the disappearance window? Small town is significant, I think, because we do know that Nancy did have like people that she checked in with regularly or people that checked in with her to some degree. Soul saw what the body couldn't. All right. Okay. Night before a big announcement. Night before a big announcement. So this is some day zero energy. Contracted betrayal. Contracted betrayal was in one of the other early readings. What was supposed to happen and what actually happened. All right. So was there movement recorded through a cell phone tower triangulation? Was there movement recorded? Remote cabin or woods. Oh, they got him pinged in the woods somewhere, most likely. Now, the problem is, it looks like Arizona is made of all types of woods and not like just regular woods. We're talking about cactus and mountains, right? So there's some remote location here. Something about a misunderstood genius fall engineered via trip or sabotage. Government facility, ongoing investigation, brute force group involved. Okay. Time dilation in the moment. Escape from cold climates, migration, logic, stage suicide, and the original crime. Some of these things could be what people are contemplating and random thoughts that they're having. Like woulda, coulda, shoulda moments. Like it's just a lot of like scaling back and reflecting and recalling. They were jealous. This card keeps coming up. Okay, it feels like Nancy is trying to say her daughter was jealous of her other daughter. It's some type of rivalry, jealousy going on. I'm gonna have to do a video on the relationship that Nancy has with her sister Savannah and get to the nitty gritty because I feel like I already know. All right, now let's move on. Was the SIM card removed? Was the SIM card removed? You know, sometimes people are not very thorough and they don't think things all the way through. There's sometimes one little thing that ends up being the smoking gun. Was the SIM removed? Feather on body is here again. Charismatic liar. Living a double life. Somebody's living a double life. That charismatic liar is back out here living a double life. Okay. This could be the dark hooded figure. Okay, was a burner phone involved? Did they use a burner phone? Because that's the smart thing to do. Classic car from the 80s or 90s, covered in symbols. In the home, bedroom, bathroom, or basement. Something is in the home. Oh, excuse me. I have these burps. Okay. Something is in the home. Something is in the home. A bicycle left behind. I don't know why this bike keeps coming up. I don't know who had a bike. What's going on with the bike? Ugh, I have no idea. Suburban home, best friend. Screenshot is key evidence. Music or lyrics repeating. All right. Did someone... We have property search, photo show impossible events. Photos show impossible events. So something about these photos is either tweaked, impossible, or implausible. Something about that. I don't know. Accident turned intentional. Scissors. Podcast investigative series. Of course, we know that this case is gonna garner a ton of press. It's already been garnering a ton of press, but as far as like movies, a studio movie that already had come out, but I think everybody already knew that this is going to be a Lifetime movie, a Dateline documentary, a 48 hours. It's going to have the whole gamut. News anchor, script, pay attention. Okay, there was a report that I just heard of NBC, which is the network that Nancy is responsible for doing a show on. They said they made an official comment saying that they did not want to report on the coverage of Nancy Guthrie's case because they didn't want it to seem to the public that there was like some type of disparaging or like favoritism, I guess, going on. That's your whole job. So you're basically saying we're not going to cover this case, even though Yes, of course, it has a lot of resources and stuff like that. But you think that the general public don't want to see you cover this case? That feels like punishment. I feel like this goes with my theory. They're trying to bully Savannah, and I'm going to get into why that is, and I'm going to bring in the connection to uh, the geopolitical atmosphere and how she plays into it. They're trying to turn her into a public, but again, I digress. Let's keep staying focused. Viral document leaks are here. Oh, again, that just goes to what I just said about how this connects to the other things. Septic or drainage modifications. I don't know. So why that's a thing, I don't know why that keeps coming up. I guess it's because they did search there. Maybe they didn't search thoroughly. Maybe they need to go back there. Was a burner phone involved is what I was trying to ask. Red heels or shoes. I don't know what that means. Long coat or trench coat. Nothing on the SIM card. Was it removed or not? Evidence leaked online. Something could be online. All right. Was a burner phone involved? I think I keep trying to ask the same two questions because I'm not getting a clear answer. Let's move on. Did someone else access the device post-event? Because that's kind of what I think happened. Did someone access the device post-event? Or was it like somebody new? Because maybe it's not the main person that we think it is. We have corporate executive, resolved closed cases back out here, gang-related retaliation. These are all a part of what they could try to make the official story. Medical malpractices here, planned or negligence. Again, I feel like this has something to do with the kidnapping that they tried to create, but it's really a medical malpractice, planned or negligence situation. Social media trail has been left. Black SUV or van is here. Traveled back to the crime scene. Travel back to the crime scene. What did I just say? Did someone else access the device post-event? Someone went back to the crime scene like a dummy. Oh, they went dumb. And you know what? That can be a ping. If they were holding their phone, it can show when they went back to the... See, stupid. Politics just flew out. Told you the story has something to do with the larger situation. Hospital gown is here. Secret admirer. Mentally unstable. GPS contradicts alibi. I told you. Don't believe the official story. Did someone... No. Is the phone already recovered? Is the phone already recovered privately but not disclosed? I'm pretty sure they have everybody's phone confiscated to some degree. Religious leader is out here, cash out. Emergency vehicle used. Oh. Okay, so remember I said I have a theory that they use like an Amazon or UPS truck because that type of car has to make a certain route. They could have a clean break out. But now that I'm seeing the landscape of that neighborhood, it literally is just one long narrow street that kind of curves around, right? So the cars can't be that big. If they are big, I mean, obviously, like I said, if it's like some type of institution car, like a company car, the USPS, whatever, going in and out is kind of like a strategic thing. Well, I'm saying that from the standpoint of seeing that there's a bunch of like media out there currently, but on any given time, I'm pretty sure that's not as like hectic, right? Okay, so let's move on from that. It's more so about how did they make a clean break? Okay. How did they get from point A to point B? Is the phone already recovered privately but not disclosed? Throw them off the scent. Yep. They already know what's going on. There's a seductress here, somebody who could be seducing or responsible for seducing someone into doing something. Okay. Victim left digital breadcrumb, exact time unknown. Landscaping renovations, forensic reconstruction required. Oh, there's a call for an opened investigation. See, now it's like they're opening different things. There's certain things that are like turning into major red flags right now. That's what it feels like. Okay. So if the phone went dark abruptly at a specific timestamp, then we know that that's got to be a behavioral issue. Okay. If it is a slowly lost signal, like we were originally thinking, like, oh my God, her pacemaker is not pinging the towers, it's not turned on, the app, that's all environmental to some degree. Now, if it's a continued pinging in motion, that means we're transporting from one place to the other. All right. Now, let's get into the camera gridding, or like the camera grid mapping that's going on. We know right now that there was a neighbor cam that captured a person of interest. Okay. There's some time stamped footage that exists. Again, I want to get clarity on the time before I start saying anything out of turn. Press confirmed the image released yesterday, but what's the real question? Where is the camera gap? Because I already told you, I think they've edited that down to a specific thing to send a signal out to the perpetrator, like, haha, we know exactly what you were doing before and after this clip right here. You thought it was over. We saw what you did, like, or even if that's not true about seeing something after the camera was disabled, the thought that they were able to recover even that much, I think, is a lot that could be making a person squirm right now. Okay. They could be on edge right now. This is about the pressure points that are discussed in that other video. Okay. So let's talk about where that camera gap could possibly be. Some of the investigative angles that we've already discussed in that video where I mentioned the video release. Okay. So we know that the Ring doorbells, within like a 2-mile radius. Okay. I think that's been confirmed. Okay. We also know that there's traffic cameras that they can look at. They've been looking at possibly parking garages. There was a mention of them going to Circle K, the gas station, to see. But mind you, there's also a reporter who said that there are 3 routes or 3 streets that you can go to and from to the Guthrie house, like to get to their main street. We know that there are toll readers. I don't know how, there wouldn't be a toll reader between the houses, the Nancy and Annie house, but there could be something along the path of the Rico Rio situation. There could be some retail stores that they went and got. Okay. License plate readers. I know that something came out earlier today about a car sticker having stickers that are visible on it, or car license plates that may be changed or foreign or whatever. There could also be a rental car that's involved, someone switching transportation. It's something about that. But either way, we know that we don't need 20 cameras to get all of this information. We need 3 aligned timestamps. Okay. The timestamps are all we really need. If the path disappears into a specific zone, then that's where that zone matters. I think that's what we're seeing as far as what was that card about? The parameters about like the GPS coordinates and the location, something about that came out. Now, everything digital has metadata. Like I said, we have time. You can get GPS coordinations. You can get a device ID even. You can have like upload origin, like where did this picture eventually land. There can also be mention of certain things as far as editing the history. Now, we already saw a card that said something about redacting search history. Something came out yesterday about burial tips or searching burial tips. Somebody could be trying to figure out where are the best places. Oh, there could be information about a phone, like a map on somebody's phone. Like somebody could have recently looked up a map, like a landscape showing like the mountains that are over there, and the best places to put a body. Okay. Maybe they didn't search stupidly in the search bar, like how to bury a body, but maybe they looked in the search bar, that terrain and locations that's nearby it. Okay. Now, if Savannah's public videos were recorded, not Savannah, Nancy's public videos, they were recorded, right? Were they done on the same device is also an interesting factor that I want to know, because at this point we know that, or we assume the FBI was involved, because state police said that they didn't know anything about the communication that the family was having with kidnappers. Okay, so did they use like an official video? Yeah, was it done with a camera? Did they use the phone? At this point, are they not using the phone? Buried alive is out here, Jane Doe. Vegetation. Oh shit. Okay, so it does feel like there's gonna be like a cold. It feels cold. There's been a lot about weather, but now it's starting to feel like this case is meant to go cold on purpose. Um, and I'm seeing something about her either being buried alive or left somewhere, and she could be found as like a Jane Doe in some type of vegetation or regrowth area. This could also be in reference to other people that have been found. Now, there's chains or restraints here. Their guilt is loud. Soil analysis is here also. Okay, all black everything and fuel purchase anomalies. That all black everything could be in reference to like the gear that we saw, that Ozark backpack, the Walmart backpack, the tactile pants, the hoodie, all of that, fuel purchases. Okay, so they could be seen wearing the same shit maybe nearby, which would be dumb. If they went to the Circle K and there's footage of them on camera, that's crazy. Now forensic reconstruction required is here, blah blah blah. I think we already covered that. Okay, let's move on. Another question that I had about Savannah's public videos, because I think it's important that we kind of know this. Were her public videos recorded at the same time? Now, what I mean by that is, do they do this and try to get it prepared for it to be sent out at a specific time? Because it always seems like these videos drop right around prime time, right? So do they record them at a specific time and then send them out? Like, was that a requirement? We have during a holiday event. Okay, I feel like that's a clear no, because we do have like the Super Bowl that was a major event. The case itself is major. Shadow figures are here. So there's people we can't see, obviously FBI, but there could also be other players in this that we don't know about. Ex-lover is here. All right. Are public videos from the family or Savannah being recorded at the same location? Are public videos being recorded at the same location? The mirror, drowning. I left signs everywhere. I left signs everywhere. Nancy's trying to do her big one right now, okay? With controlled framing. We already know that that's been a case, okay? That matters. All the controlled framing and language that we've been hearing from the family. Go back to my video on that where I discussed that. Now, if there were multiple takes, that does matter more, because I do wonder if like it took a second. I'm pretty sure Savannah has found a way to kind of like be strong. Family instability as recruitment leverage came out. Family instability as recruitment leverage. All right, now let's go into speculation really quickly. All right, now speculation is, I'm watching a stream of Harvey on Fox News right now. They have the night vision of the house overhead, like a helicopter. Remember, I talked about that like within the first couple of days. I was talking about the night vision and thermal imaging. Family instability. Oh, that's why that thermal imaging card is so significant, and why Nancy was so adamant about like helping solve this case by being like radiant. There's something about her being radiant. The color yellow is also significant too. I meant to do a video on that before this one. So there's been a drop off at her front house, like of yellow flowers, that was like organized by, I guess, her church or somebody. Local had like residents and close family and friends drop off yellow flowers, and there's a significance to that, especially at this point in the case, but I'll get into that in the next video. Now, If the upload time of these videos doesn't match record time, that could be huge. But that's not really like the biggest issue. Let's get into the social media silence pattern. Okay. So the last DM activity, we need to be checking that. That's probably what the authorities are doing. Oh, just flew out right after an argument. Look in my journal. This is the Patsy. This is the Patsy. Look in my journal. Somebody knew something. Somebody wrote something down. Somebody knows somebody will be used as like a scapegoat or used as like the fall guy. Something could be significant right after an argument. Remember, I talked about what may have happened during during dinner, or a looming discussion that was had between siblings that brought dinner to a close. Okay, something about that. Now, another thing that people need to be checking in the investigation, like the authorities, they're most likely looking at location sharing. Maybe somebody locate or shared their location between each other. Maybe read receipts if there are text messages that appear to not have a response, but they have been read and viewed, that acknowledges something. Any cloud backups could be significant. I know there was early discussion about the heart pacer thing. iCloud, Google Sync is all significant. I'm pretty sure they're looking at that. The smartwatch biometrics, don't know if she wore well, the pacemaker may have some type of wristwatch. I don't know. But either it's that or Apple Health that could also log some steps. So we never know exactly what type of jewelry she wore. I know symbolic jewelry came out, or unusual jewelry came out in some of the earlier readings, but again, like I'm just kind of brainstorming and talking out loud. Now, if the steps stop abruptly, again, that's a timestamp. If the heart rate spikes, that's a timestamp. If location freezes, that's also a timestamp. The digital body is going to tell a story. And I think that's what we are witnessing right now. Okay. As far as like the trail, because we know that they must be coming to a place where there's some confidence in the timeline and the structure of it. They've also narrowed down their scope, hopefully, and they may have also reduced reliance on public speculation. Honestly, like they may be a lot more further along than we actually think. And because we haven't gotten communication, like I said, that means something. Now, regarding the released person of interest, let's analyze this for a second. We looked on that video and we saw a gait. We saw the gait speed. That just means how a person walks. Somebody knows or recognizes that person. We have not heard a lot of people come forward. There could be a very significant reason as to why that is. We also have head scanning behavior in that video. We saw something about the clothing. There's also a little bit of directional certainty versus like wandering. And there's hand positioning that we saw of the hands on the glove, or the gloved hands on the ring camera, the landscaping and all of that. So someone who knows where they're going, they move differently than someone that's obviously improvising, like I've said before. So maybe they were too calm. Let's just pull to see what was going on with that. Was this person calm? Or did this person feel under pressure? Was this person calm, or did they feel under pressure? Calm or under pressure? Distraction case. A child saw everything. I don't really understand that card. Last seen in surveillance camera, or for surveillance footage, look at my phone. Love triangle. Here we go with this again. All right. I feel like I want to close here because now I'm going to, no vehicle on foot is back out. Looking very closely. Deceased RIP. All right. So I am going to go a little deeper on some of these cards that do stick out, but I'm going to create a specific video for that is probably going to be like some type of evidence related situation. So stay tuned for that. But I do think that it is a pretty safe pause for the day, at least. Not too much that has been happening in the news that we haven't already been tracking. So if this was random, we know that the digital trail will look messy. But if this was personal, which a lot of us are leaning towards, then the digital trail is going to most likely look very tight. And if it was orchestrated, like we also think, it's going to be kind of clean in some areas. Others, we do find out that there are um people drop the ball all the time, and there can be little mishaps or missteps that people make, but it does feel very clean to an extent, and that's when the absence becomes evidence. Okay, so we'll update the matrix after this. Expect a case matrix update today, I mean tomorrow, or the following day, because it'll be Friday. But stay sharp. Let me know if there's anything that sticks out in this reading. Hit the like button, subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.